Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. That was really difficult to get out today, and it's really appropriate that I'm experiencing my normal intro as a tongue twister because we are talking about Mercury retrograde today. And in Mercury retrograde, on and around these times, these few weeks where Mercury appears to be moving backwards in the sky, we can tend to get a little bit tongue-tied. Communication, our mental processes, technology, all of these things that Mercury rules can get a little bit funky. And so everyone bear with me as I am doing my best to enunciate and to move through the speech portion, which is really the majority of the video for you guys today. So we're talking about Mercury retrograde. We're talking about the first Mercury retrograde of 2022. We are going to be experiencing 4 Mercury retrogrades this year. Normally, we average about 3 retrogrades as far as Mercury is concerned per year on an average year, but sometimes we get 4. And this is one of those years. And so much like 2021, we are going to be experiencing Mercury retrograding through all of the air signs. But this time Mercury is going to be completing the year with a retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. And as we go over the energies of this first retrograde, you're all going to understand how appropriate it is that we are finishing out the year with a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. This first Mercury retrograde begins on the 13th of January and goes until the 3rd of February. And we are going to be experiencing the shadow period until the 23rd of February. And what the shadow period means is that Mercury retrogrades, right, appearing to move backwards in the sky, and stops at a certain point and turns direct again, but still has to cover all that ground that it covered during the retrograde to return to the point where the retrograde began. And once Mercury returns to the point where that retrograde began, this is when we consider ourselves completely out of the energy of the retrograde, as that shadow period is now complete. And so we're going to talk about this trajectory of energy. And it's very important to note and understand that we have something similar going on. We have a deepening of what went on last year. Last year, as Mercury retrograded through the air signs, we really had this opportunity to gain a certain level of mental mastery. And so as we move into 2022, we're fine-tuning that. We're getting another opportunity to clean up and clear up our perception, to really master our minds in an even more meaningful way, right? The next layer of that is what we're experiencing this year, and we talk about this pretty frequently, the importance of mastering our minds. As we move into this new dimension of consciousness, right? As energy begins moving quicker, our manifestations are happening faster, right? Our thoughts are becoming things with greater velocity. And so we really want to have control of our minds and our thoughts, because if those are running amok, our manifestations are going to be running amok too. And it's going to be happening at a faster and faster rate. So this mastery of the mind is essential. Right? When our minds are running away with us, it creates complete chaos in the world around us. We cannot be masters unless we have mastered our minds. And so it is absolutely imperative that we do so. And this retrograde, we've been feeling this the past few videos that I've done. Even I think before the pre-shadow period, we've been feeling this energy of this Mercury retrograde. And even though it's not connected to a water sign, it feels very emotional too. There's been a lot of energy coming through in the cards that's really been indicating that there's going to be a high level of emotionality connected to this Mercury retrograde, even though it isn't an air sign, which is very cerebral. Right? There's just this level of emotionality. And we will have that full moon in Cancer happening about 4 days into the retrograde, which is going to be a huge emotional purge and detox, and a real opportunity to step into a deeper level of emotional mastery. So one thing that we are learning that I'm really feeling with this retrograde, especially in the beginning when it's combining with this full moon in Cancer, is this energy of us understanding the connection between our mind and our emotions and learning how to master the emotions through the mind and the mind through the emotions, right? Vice versa. So that's going to be it's going to be definitely an interesting full moon, I think, and an interesting retrograde, as it really is. It's like a huge mental and emotional purge that we are experiencing. This energy, sorry, brain fart where I was going to go with that. All right, let's talk about the lineups that we have going on here. All right. So Mercury is beginning this retrograde in a loose conjunction to Saturn. And this is really relevant, right? Because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. And we do, of course, have Mercury moving from Aquarius back into Capricorn. Mercury will be finishing out this retrograde in the sign of Capricorn at 24 degrees of Capricorn. And Mercury will actually be completing this retrograde in a loose conjunction to Pluto. So moving from Saturn to Pluto, and all the while at the beginning and at the end of the shadow period, starting and finishing off in a square to Uranus. So there's a lot of powerful and intense action happening here. A lot of really big, powerful planets that Mercury is interacting with during this retrograde. And with that energy of Saturn, right, and that energy of Capricorn, we have that energy of mastery. Capricorn is a sign of mastery. It is the final earth sign. It is that sign of ambition, that sign of finesse. Like Capricorn is a mature energy, right? It is ruled by the planet Saturn. And so we really feel that Saturnian energy throughout this Mercury retrograde and throughout all the retrogrades of 2022. Remember, they're concluding with a retrograde in Capricorn. There's so much going on in the sign of Capricorn this year. Capricorn energy is a major theme that we are working with. Yes, the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio, and that Taurus energy, so that earth energy in general, really. But Capricorn as well as Taurus is a sign that we're going to be feeling a lot. There's a lot happening, a lot going down in the sign of Capricorn this year, you guys. And it's really teaching us how to step into our own inner authority. There's a lot that we're learning. We are very much students this year, right? This energy of Saturn, this energy of Capricorn is really asking us to understand the lessons and internalize the lessons that we've been learning up until this point. And so this year, I think, is going to be a really big check-in point for people. Is, have you completed the lessons that you were meant to learn? Are you really ready to graduate to the next level of learning? Right? It is very much that energy, and that's what these Mercury retrogrades are really going to bring up, and they're really going to ask, especially this first one, and that last one probably in Capricorn, right? But this first one with that conjunction to Saturn starting this off. Karmic lessons. There's karmic clearing going on. Karmic purging, right? A lot of these life lessons, these soul lessons coming up. And very much this energy of maturity. Can we become mentally mature? Right? So that full moon in Cancer that we're experiencing at the beginning of this retrograde is asking us to become emotionally mature. This retrograde and this retrograde season really is asking us to become mentally mature. Do we know how to manage our thoughts? Do we, like we talked about earlier, do we allow our thoughts to run amok with us? Right? Is our mind our master, or are we the masters of our mind? How are we perceiving the world around us? Right? Are we still perceiving the world from a childish point of view? Or have we learned have we gained some maturity? Are we able to see and perceive and interact with the world from a more mature and grounded place? Where is it that we're falling short with that, right? Where is it where we are perhaps a bit naive or a bit childish or a bit self-centered? And how is it that we can move into a more grown-up version of ourselves in our minds, not only in the ways we think and perceive, but also in the ways that we communicate. So there's a real strive for mature communication as well. Mature, constructive, efficient, and effective communication. Remember, these are all adjectives that describe both Saturn and the energy of Capricorn. And we all know when we finish, when on the 3rd, when Mercury comes into that loose conjunction with Pluto, we're going to be feeling that energy of transformation. That's where those fires of transformation really take place. And we really have that deep final purge, in a way, of any of those shadow energies, those obsessions, those compulsions, all of those insecurities, those types of energies. But we're going to feel that building this whole time, really, right? From the start all the way through, and then through the shadow period as well. And another thing that's really interesting that we mentioned, right, is the fact that we have Mercury in a square to Uranus at the beginning of this Mercury retrograde, and when Mercury completes its shadow period. So this Mercury square Uranus energy. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, right? Uranus is the higher mind. We can think of Mercury as the lower mind, and Uranus as the higher mind. So when we have this tense aspect between these two planets, we really are receiving a massive upgrade to our mental bodies, to our brains, probably our cerebral bodies, like all the files. If we can think of ourselves as computers, right, the hard drive of our minds is really receiving a massive upgrade. We may experience a lot of racing thoughts. A lot of really intense kinetic energy is going to be produced during this retrograde. So we really want to take care to be slowing down, to be grounding, to be unplugging, to be soothing our nervous systems, right? Because they may be getting a little bit frayed. We want to be taking that time out to meditate, that time out to clear our energy, and to give our minds a break, because they are receiving a lot of activations and a lot of upgrades during this retrograde. There's also that push and pull between the lower mind and the higher mind, between the smaller perspective and the larger perspective, right? And so we may be feeling this each in our own ways. There may also be a sort of initiation period that we're going through as Uranus is coming in, upgrading this lower mind, and possibly producing chaos, right? We know that Uranus is known for producing chaos. So unprecedented or unexpected events, things that trigger us to think more deeply, to think more broadly, to use and expand our minds in ways that we haven't before, to problem solve in ways that we haven't before, to communicate in ways that we haven't before. There's a lot of energy, a lot of ways that Uranus may be working with us to expand and broaden our minds. And so really this retrograde, absolutely anything could happen. We're going to get into the cards a little bit and see what they suggest about what we might be able to expect during this retrograde. Let's see, what do we want to start with here? I do want to start with actually some Gateway of Light activation cards and see because I know there are some powerful activations that we're receiving during this retrograde. So let's see, what activations are we receiving? Clear. During this first Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, 2022. What guidance do we have? Yeah, this is a big one, you guys, and this is setting the stage for the next 3 retrogrades that we have of Mercury. We also have Venus in retrograde at the same time as this Mercury retrograde. So there's a lot of intensity right there. There's a lot of intensity right there. And I do actually believe, I'm sorry, I got to take this ring off. It's not working with the shuffling. I actually believe, and let me double check this for you guys, but I think Mercury may be conjunct Juno at the end of this as well. So I'm just going to hop through again. Let me get to, was it the 23rd? I want to say at the end of the shadow period. Yeah, at the end of the shadow period, Mercury will also be not only square Uranus again, but conjunct Juno. So there is that relationship energy as well. If you have been feeling this Venus retrograde and the intensity in the shifts around relationships and things have been shaken up, this Mercury retrograde may shake them up a little more. Like, I will say, if anyone who is in a couple or a relationship right now, if you make it through this first few months of 2022, you're looking pretty good. You know it's meant to be. All right. So we have the Shambhala initiations coming out. retreating to recharge, trusting in the process, Dharma. So that energy, like we said, of unplugging, of grounding, of centering, of meditating, of recharging is going to be really important throughout this retrograde. And this also feels like to me, even though there's a lot of intensity, this Mercury retrograde, as many of them actually are, is a recharge in its own way. We don't really think about it like that, but when we're going through these cycles, especially with Mercury, which represents our minds, right? We process things in a certain way typically, right? Our brain is processing on a conscious level. It's receiving and it's interacting. And when Mercury goes into retrograde, we have that more subconscious, subjective process. And it really gives our minds a time to integrate everything that they've received and picked up on as Mercury was moving direct. And so it's like, it's that rest and that go. And it's really important for our brains to have this. It's kind of how we even out the right and the left brain. Right? That right brain, of course, I always get screwed up like this. The right, the masculine, the left, the feminine. I think it's the left, I think it's the left, the masculine, the right, the feminine. But whatever it is, you guys know what I mean. It's the masculine and the feminine, the evening out of these two aspects of our being and of our minds. So it's really important. And though we are learning a lot during Mercury retrograde, we are observing, we are going within. That is what this energy is meant for. And yes, a lot of people end up reaching out, right? Mercury retrograde is famous for exes coming back around, right? People that we haven't thought of in a long time contacting us, or us having the urge to contact people, right? Because we are revisiting the past in some ways. So it is famous for that kind of an energy. But it's also, what it's doing is it's giving us a different perspective, right? So we're seeing the same things that we've been seeing and discussing before, but we're seeing them from a different angle. And we're seeing a deeper truth. We're seeing another layer of our unconscious, right? And how we think and feel about things. Maybe a truth that we've denied ourselves, or an aspect of that truth. But remember, truth is not one thing. Truth can be many things. So we may be seeing something different that we think and feel. And we may be really convinced that we need to change our minds about something during Mercury retrograde, right? Because we're seeing from that other angle. And that's why the best thing to do is to go within, is to take this time to really pay attention to what's coming up. But to understand that that energy is probably going to shift again when Mercury returns direct. So we don't want to be making any snap decisions when any of these personal planets are in retrograde, but especially Mercury, right? It's just showing us another layer of truth. And then we integrate that with the truth that we knew before. And we come to a deeper and more resonant synthesis of truth following the retrograde. So this is a time of retreating. This is a time of integration. This is a time of recalibration, right? And like we said, with that Uranus square Mercury energy, we're being activated at the same time that we're integrating. So we really want to take this time to rest, to retreat, to recharge, and to not make any decisions, but to really look at all the different angles, all the different shades of gray that are being shown to us during this period. And really trusting in the process with the Dharma card here. It really is this energy of, we are walking down the path of our Dharma, right? Our Dharma is our life purpose. We are moving in that along that path. But the process that is taking us, the way that our Dharma is being fulfilled, may not look like what we thought we would. And a lot of people may be getting confused about that, maybe getting stressed out by that. So we're being asked to trust in the process. To trust that even though we may not understand it, if we are following our hearts and letting our hearts lead, we are moving in the direction of our Dharma, and we don't have to worry about that. And also trust in this process of stepping back. This process of retreat when it needs to happen. Trust in that as well. And then we have the Halls of a Mentee initiation. And this came out in a reading, I don't know, like last week or the week before maybe. Secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiations. Ooh. All right. So let's, and then on the bottom of the deck here, we have karmic board clearing. Energetic clearing, rewrite your story, live your truth. So that deep karma clearing that we were talking about, right? that releasing of karma. And interesting how that's on top of the ancestral realm, which is also about karmic release and healing our lineage. So a lot of deep karmic releasing and purging that is going on as well during this Mercury retrograde. But let's just take a look at these real quick and see what they have to say. Okay. Just gonna skim over this. When things quiet down in your life, know that this isn't a failure, but an opportunity to retreat and recharge. In the busyness of the physical world, our spirit is often playing catch up with our body, to the point that it gets used to being overactive and overworked. When the great masters of Shambhala come to you, they are encouraging you to take time to be away from the outer world and dive into the inner world. If you have been moving full speed ahead, this gateway encourages you to slow down and retreat. Take time to gather your energy. Spend time in meditation and reflection in order to gain a clearer awareness of your current situation. You will uncover many insights and gifts during this period. Realize that there is a master awakening within. And it's interesting, it says you may acquire insights and gifts during this period, because then we have secrets revealed and treasures uncovered in the next card. So there are some powerful understandings to be had if we take that time to retreat and get quiet and really go within. All right, let's see what this card wants to tell us. You are in a deep initiatory chamber at this time. You might feel that things are heavy and challenging, but know that a reconfiguration is happening. Energetically, you are going through an initiation that will allow you to go beyond the fears of the ego and transcend the limitations of the physical realm. You might not feel that light is present because you are in the middle of this phase at the moment, but know that it is present within you. You may be feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, but a lot of this anxiety is actually old energies that were stored in the depths of your body being released so that your vibration can rise. And remember, a lot of this stuff that's being released and purged isn't even necessarily yours, right? Some of this is clearing for your ancestors, for the collective, right? This deep karmic clearing and resetting. And this is where we're really being given this opportunity to see and understand where it is that we've still been living our lives based on the stories of others, based on the stories of our ancestors, based on the stories of our families, right? Where are we ready to truly break free and write our own story, blaze our own path? That is that is another big energy that I think we're going to be made aware of during Mercury retrograde. Where is it? And I'm definitely feeling that with the setting boundaries thing. Definitely feeling that energy of people needing to set boundaries, especially with family during this retrograde. That feels very strong to me. Seeing and understanding where it is that we've been living our lives for other people, perhaps for our family, trying to cater to their expectations, to the world's expectations. And finally realizing and understanding that our own expectations are the only ones that truly matter. Yeah. And the Orion activation came up last time as well. So I really like that. And that's all about recreation and renewal as well. So really this beautiful rebirthing process that's happening for many. But yeah, an intense purge as well. That we're all, and we have been experiencing really leading up to this retrograde as well. I want to pull a couple Black Moon astrology cards to go with or to accompany the aspects of the reading that we've just done. All right. Clear. Let's get some more energy for this first Mercury retrograde of 2022. Yeah, I feel like in meditation, people may receive deep insights into aspects, wounds within their lineage that are ready to be healed. ways that you've been carrying out the pain of your ancestors without even knowing it. And some of this may have to do with relationships, I'm feeling, for many. All right, so we have the Grand Trine Blessings coming out, first card. So that's beautiful energy. Tell us more. All right, Jupiter Abundance wanted to pop out there too, you guys. Ooh, somebody's like, something good is happening for someone here. Something, and it feels with the abundance and the blessings coming in, it feels like just like this beautiful shift of energy for some people where the floodgates of abundance are just opening and gifts are coming in. But then we also have like literal physical gifts or yeah, something in the physical material realm. But with this Virgo I Analyze card here, there's also these blessings that come from this energy, the blessings that come from this process of healing the mind. All right, remember, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. One of two signs, Virgo and Gemini, are ruled by Mercury. Virgo is the earthy, the more grounded of the mercurial energies. So it's like a deeper understanding. That's the blessing for many. Some people, I really feel that abundance in the physical realm coming through in some way that you really need. For some people, almost like right at the final minute, the final hour, something comes through that you've been waiting on. I feel that for some, but this right here, this is like blessings. Shit. I got totally distracted wanting to clarify for that last piece, and I totally lost the energy of what I was saying about this. But it's that energy of a deeper understanding that comes through, that is a blessing in and of itself. And with the Desire card here, this is a deeper understanding of your true motivations and passions. What is it that you really want? Right? And I feel for some people it's this energy of realizing that you can have what it is you want. I feel like some people up until now really thought that they could not have what it is that they wanted. And all of a sudden now you're beginning to see that you can, that it's possible. That the only thing that was holding you back from receiving everything you ever wanted was you. Was your own mind, your own belief systems. Your own, remember, Virgo energy can be very, because it is so analytical, it is so linear and logical. It can sometimes be overly logical to the point of not allowing enough faith in. Not allowing enough hope and enough belief in the magic. So it's like this belief in the magic is reignited for some people too. Also for some people, this is blessings of health. I feel that too. Some people's health begins turning around during this retrograde. Or perhaps you begin to understand, for some, how it is that your own mental processes were tied into your health. Or what it is that you can do. There's like new information that's presented to you about what you can do in order to improve your health. And this is physical health. Although, I mean, for some it's mental health as well and emotional. But I definitely feel strong for some people of physical health as well here. Physical health and vitality. Yeah, and I love these cards together. The North Node and Capricorn. Right? Capricorn is the ruler of the 10th house. Capricorn is that energy of ambition. Right? We've been talking about it as the energy of maturity. And it absolutely is. And this is a deeper level of maturity that allows us to step more deeply into our purpose. In order for us to move toward our purpose, to move toward our dharma more powerfully, we have to have this level of maturity that this Capricorn energy is calling for. We have to have this level of mastery over our mind and our emotions in order to be capable of doing the things we need to do, of taking the steps that we need to take, of being committed to the path that we are meant to walk next. And so there is this energy, this deeper sense of commitment to our path forward that we find either during or as a result of this Mercury retrograde. I feel like for some people, this retrograde itself may be calling you to question your path, to question your purpose, right? To question all sorts of different things, your wants, your needs, your desires. But once you come out of the retrograde, you will have a much better understanding of these things than you had before, and a deeper level of commitment, even to things that you may be second guessing right now, or wondering if you really want to commit yourself to after all, right? This is healthy. This is that energy, that switching of perceptions, of perspectives, seeing the other side of things, being able to examine truthfully all of the different ways that we feel about a matter, all of the different things that we think about a matter, all the different ways that different aspects of ourselves view different situations. But this is why we say don't act until it's over, right? Because then we get to have to resume our I don't want to say our old perspective, but we get to move back into the energy, the more stable mental energy that we were in before the retrograde, but with all the perspective and the wisdom that we've gained from the deeper level of self-knowledge that we have from where our mind and our hearts and our emotions took us during the retrograde, right? And so even if during the retrograde it doesn't become more clear, afterwards it's going to be very clear. And we're going to be that much more committed and devoted to our path forward, whatever that path is. And for many, yes, resources that are going to assist us in moving forward in our current life's purpose. Because remember, as we always say, our purpose changes as we do. Those resources are absolutely going to be coming through for people. So if there are people who have been fearing that, this is a really great sign that that is coming. That you can trust that. You don't have to stress out about that. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? Trust me, I understand. So we have the lunar eclipse change coming out. So a lot of changes that are being initiated during or on and around or following this retrograde. You like how I covered all the bases there? On, around, or following? There is change. There is deep change in the air. But this lunar eclipse, this is like emotion, right? The lunar, the moon. The moon represents the emotions. So I'm feeling like a really powerful emotional shift as a result of this retrograde for people. This mental shift that, yes, creates this powerful emotional shift as well. Yeah, reinvention. So the reinvention Mercury retrograde card, right? Coming out with the lunar eclipse change card. This is major shifts and changes in energy. And so some people, you may find yourself committing to a path that you hadn't even imagined before. Right? There could be major shifts and unprecedented shifts and changes happening for people. Complete reinvention of either what it is that we're going after, what it is that we're trying to create, or the way that we're going about it. The way that we're going about it may be shifting and changing completely. But something after this retrograde is never going to be the same. Whether it's just you internally or you externally. But remember, when the internal changes and shifts like that, the external always shifts to match. So regardless of whether it's internal or external, eventually it will become external as well. But there's a huge shift and a change of energy here. A change of the tides. That's what it feels like. That's what I'm hearing right now. A change of the tides. Whatever that means. I feel like I want to grab some Zodiac of the 108 cards here. Clear. Tell me more about these changes. This reinvention. Let's see if I can get these cards to shuffle. These cards are so small, so it's really difficult sometimes to shuffle them, you guys, to kind of get them in the right position. There we go. All right. Yeah, tell me more about this change, about this reinvention. What's going on here? It's like for some people, it's this energy of like you thought you knew what your passion was, you thought you knew what your purpose was, but something that comes completely out of left field here. And for some of you guys, it's like as you move, as this retrograde helps to bring you closer to your purpose, whether that's just because it's the ways that it's shifting you and changing you mentally and emotionally are bringing you closer, or whether it's the revelations, whether it's communications, whatever it is, however it is that you're being brought closer to your purpose. This retrograde is just doing that for a lot of people, and it's really yeah, for some people, completely shifting your perception and understanding of what that is. And really kind of blindsiding you in some ways. Let's see. So we have the child popping out. For some people, I know that I can relate to this energy, right? We've found that part of our purpose is now to bring a child into the world. But this is also, we've been talking a lot about working with that energy of the inner child. So we're just going to leave that. That fell out kind of funny. We're going to leave that, see if anything else, if that ties into anything. But this change, this reinvention, tell me more about this. For some people, it is getting more in touch with their inner child. Getting more in touch with that aspect of themselves that knows how to play, that knows how to explore, right? That knows how to use their imagination, right? Bringing... and that's an interesting energy, right? And an interesting paradox that we all have to learn. It's how to be more mature and more responsible, but at the same time not lose this childlike innocence and wonder. How can we be both the adult and the child? Right? The responsible adult with the happy and thriving inner child. So we have the train moving on. Moving forward. No resistance, going with the flow. Let's get some more energy here. Tell me about this change, this reinvention. So for some people, it's like you're learning how to go with the flow. You're learning how to drop that resistance. But this is definitely the energy also of creating something new that you're creating. A new track, a new direction that you're moving down. Get shit done. That's one of the little quotes on this card. I like that. Taking care of business, right? That's what we like to say. TCOB. Let's see. Olive branch, truth, surrender, giving in, peace offering. But this, once again, is that energy of surrender. That's what that feels like to me. So really learning how to surrender. Learning how to go with the flow. Learning how to, like we said, really commit to a path and move forward. This is resources as well, with these tools, the resources coming through. This is also healing and forgiveness. So this is where we're really owning up to our past as well, and we're taking responsibility for the actions and the energies of our past. That's some of that karma clearing energy, right? But we're taking the constructive action, right? Yeah, for some people, this is really also that energy of making amends. Remember, amends are not the same thing as saying, I'm sorry. When we make amends, we actually do something to make up for what it is that we've done that harmed somebody else. And that somebody else could be ourselves, right? So for some of us, it's making amends to ourselves, but it's taking the action, right? So it's not just saying, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. It's not doing that again. That's the amend. It's making things right. What is the action that I can take to make this right? And so for some people during Mercury retrograde, you're going to get that opportunity to make things right. If there has been a situation where you have harmed somebody or you have hurt somebody in the past, they may be coming back around and giving you that opportunity to make things right. Or vice versa, giving you that opportunity to forgive if they are coming to you wanting to make things right. So that's definitely an energy, and that's going to assist in karma clearing. So be aware of that if someone's coming to you with that energy, in that energy. Be aware that they're working to clear and heal their karma, as well as yours, right? To clear and resolve those contracts. And so try to treat them with love and compassion if you can. But yeah, this is definitely that energy, like we said, of moving forward. Of some people also recognizing gaining the tools that they need in order to proceed in life, and also beginning to recognize what else it is that they need, what else it is that they need to acquire or accumulate, whether this is skills, whether this is I don't know, whatever it is. What are the resources that you need? What are the skills you need to move forward? Yeah. But there's definitely this energy of progression here. And then we have the microphone. So this is about speaking truth, communicating, making known. What other energy do we have with this here? Family. So once again, the energy of children coming out, loyalty, tribe, kindred spirits. So there may be some people also who are making announcements around family, around children. These things may be coming out, these announcements during Mercury retrograde. Healing of the family. If there have been rifts within the family, there may be healing. There may be like a deeper level of communication that's possible with family members that really works to bring some healing. Whether this is with children, with parents, with siblings, anywhere in the family. Learning how to agree to disagree, right? Learning how to look past differences and love one another. But this child energy to me too feels like renewal. This feels like where we felt drained, we're all of a sudden feeling recharged. Where we felt weary, we're all of a sudden feeling energized. Where it is that we began to look at life through this energy of, what's the word that I'm looking for? This jaded kind of an energy. It's sort of like that gets cleared from us and we're able to see the world from a fresh perspective. That's what this childlike, that's that change, that reinvention energy. That's a major thing that I'm feeling for that. And let's see what just popped out here and how we feel about this. Yeah, so with the yarn and the slingshot, if you are experiencing a lot of tension, right, a lot of heated arguments and situations, a lot of anxiety and pressure, right? If there are hassles and problems, remember, things can go wrong during Mercury retrograde. It's famous for technological issues. That's why they always say back up your work. Make sure that you have gas in the car, right? Make sure that your maintenance is all taken care of. Technical things, mechanical things, all of that, there can be hassles around that. Timing, right? Timing and schedules, getting places on time, like we said, communications, all of these things. It all tends to get a little bit more complicated sometimes during Mercury retrograde. And so if this energy presents itself, go within, disengage. This is that energy from the beginning of the reading popping back up again to close us out. Pull back your energy if you need to. Retreat to recharge. All right? And with the spilled milk on the bottom of the deck, don't cry over spilled milk. Right? Don't let yourself get caught up in this energy. And get pulled into it. That's one of the challenges of Mercury retrograde. That's how we learn to master the mind. Do we get pulled into the chaos? Or are we able to rise above it? Are we able to keep a clear head, to keep a clear mind? To say only what we truly feel and what feels appropriate and right in the moment, right? To communicate clearly and effectively. Are we able to let things go? Right? Any of these minor hassles and problems, don't let yourself get overwhelmed with them. Don't let yourself get caught up in that energy. You know, when we have those days where we stub our toe and then this happens and then, we can't find our keys and all of a sudden all the lights are red on the way to work. And it's like the energy we continue to experience all these issues because the frustration, that frustrated energy is pulling more of that energy toward us. Don't get caught up in that cycle. Don't get caught up in that energy. Once again, pull yourself back. Take a step back if you feel yourself getting pulled into it. Right? Don't allow... This is going to be a major challenge for a lot of us and a point of growth. When we're able to detach from that, when we feel that the momentum of that kind of energy starting to gain speed and we're able to stop it and diffuse it. So really learning and practicing how to do that. Let's see. And then with the bedroom here, what I'm feeling from this is just that energy of getting rest and retreating again. That's really what they want us to know. Take plenty of time to rest, to recharge, to reboot, to pull back your energy when you need to. Let this be an internal process. Try only to externalize when it feels appropriate. And if you don't know, then continue to take that time to go within. All right, give yourself time to integrate. Give yourself time to think things through, right? Don't make any snap decisions. And there's a lot of beautiful and powerful blessings and gifts that are going to come out of this retrograde for many. All right, but we have to be willing to ride the wave. We have to be willing and able and ready to go with the flow. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. If you enjoyed this reading, hit that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know that you are here. Let me know how you're feeling this retrograde, shaping up. If you would like to donate to this channel, there are links down below to do that in the description box. My email is also in the description box below, along with a list of the different services that I offer. If you feel that you are desiring to work one-on-one with me and you're not really sure what exactly is going to be best, shoot me an email. We can talk. We can figure it out. It is always my honor and privilege to be able to work with you guys in that way. It's my honor and privilege to be able to make these videos for you guys, to connect with you each and every single way that I do. I appreciate you so incredibly much, and I hope that you have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye.